What really obvious thing have you only just realized? That when I was a kid and my dad would take me to the video store on Friday nights and he would go into the back room where only adults were allowed, that he was looking at porn. That the phrase mint condition means like new, because it's the condition coins leave the mint in. Wow, I always thought it meant mint condition, because mint makes you feel fresh. I must have been around 11 to 12 years old when I realized that in order of appearance during the end credits of movie doesn't list the actors/actresses by who is the most good looking. This made me laugh. Never thought about it that way, but it's hilarious. I learned a couple years ago that it's not the mayor of bad news, it's actually the bearer of bad news. I'm 25. I'm sorry, I can't stop laughing at this. I strive to be the mayor of bad news one day. Hell, maybe even today. Cilantro and coriander are the same plant. One time I was at a restaurant with a friend, sharing salsa and chips. I commented that the salsa had a very strong cilantro flavor, and she commented she couldn't taste anything other than coriander. We debated the issue for a few minutes, in disbelief that the other person was tasting something completely different and couldn't pick up on the taste the other thought was prominent. When I saw coriander seeds at the store a few weeks later, I bought them to see what taste she had been talking about. And then the truth clicked. I mean, at least you guys weren't arguing about how the salsa does or doesn't taste like soap. Definitely cold bean worse. I only just today realized that the walk the plank on a boat is not a special edition pirates added to their ships as a means of public execution that looked like a little wooden diving board. It is, in fact, the very same plank as the gangplank you normally used to get on and off of the ship. It is not the presence of the plank that is threatening, but the absence of dock. That you have to add a can of water to Campbell's soup. Apparently I've been drinking straight condensed soup. Don't let people lie to you. Eat it straight from the can. The first time I visited the USA I was on my own and in New York and going to all the museums. I kept seeing signs that said no strollers and thought, because we call strollers prams in the UK, that you guys are super strict about the proper amount of attention required to visit a museum. I actually pretended to show more interest than I had and ought not to be thugth as some deadbeat out for a casual stroll. It wasn't until about day 3 that I saw a no strollers sign that included a graphic for idiots. Edit. Woohoo. Thanks for the gold and silver and 40x the karma. Oh, my first visit to the States, I went to a supermarket on my own, and at the checkout the lady asked me paper or plastic, and I didn't know what she meant, so I said I have cash, and she very politely didn't tell me I was an idiot. She was in fact asking what type of carrier bags I wanted my shopping putting in, instead of how I was going to pay. That actually is a pretty reasonable misunderstanding. That calling someone simple is just a nice way of calling someone stupid. Wife informed me of this after 28 years of my grandma calling me simple. Simple could also mean uncomplicated or not conniving, but maybe I'm just naive. Not naive, just simple. I realized at the age of 26 that narwhals are real because they were on an Octonauts episode. We walked into the room and was like, I thought they only do real animals on this show. Then the kid's dad said, you're joking. Right, I only realized they were a real animal this year, and I'm ducking 30. Felt like a right dumbass being told they are in fact real by someone half my age. I kept seeing the same Chinese characters on restaurant signs and I always wanted to know what it meant. A week ago I found out they mean restaurant. A friend in college went to Hawaii and thought mahalo meant pitchin because it was printed on all the public trash cans. Lol. I'm from Hawaii and it's always hilarious hearing about people getting the local slang wrong. I used to always pour water into our coffee maker one glass at a time. It was such a pain in the ass, especially to fill the reservoir to the number of cups I wanted, until I realized I could just fill the carafe with water, which has the exact same measurements, and pour the water in that way. Oh well, one up you on that one, my coworker. In the first week of work, picked up the whole damn coffee maker and brought it over to the water cooler to fill it up. The whole coffee maker. He unplugged it and carried it across the office. Outstanding. I recently realized I was allergic to carrots. I just thought they made everyone's mouth numb. You know, just like almonds. I also learned recently that I have an almond allergy. Same here. Thought that raw hazelnuts don't taste good because they give this weird tingle in your mouth. Found out I had a nut allergy when it suddenly turned from tingle to anaphylaxis, and I ended up in hospital for eating nut chocolate. Nothing like losing your ability to breathe. On the plus side, I've had to use EP 3 times in my life and it works phenomenally. Nut allergy pro tip: watch out for the pits of certain fruits. I drank some mango juice once and went full anaphylaxis. Turns out the seed is just like a cashew. Edit. Also, I feel like I should say this since I'm an EMT. Carry your EpiPen. I can't give one to you if your name isn't on it. Edit 2. Should have clarified on edit 1. I can't give it to you if your name isn't on it, and I don't have authorization from our medical director to give you a different one. Point is, carry your own, and if it's deemed necessary, either you or I can give you EP. I always thought you can't have your cake and eat it. 2 was a weird saying, because why wouldn't I be able to eat my freaking slice of cake? It's my cake. Nobody was telling me that I can't have my cake. Turns out they mean you can't eat the cake while also still retaining it. Once it is eaten, it is gone. An idiom I did not understand until this year. I'm 27. Edit. Thank you for the silver, kind stranger. The Italian version of this is you can't have a full bottle and a drunk wife or something along those lines. This is better. This sounds ridiculous, but I recently found out about the term knee-jerk reaction. My whole life I had been saying it how I heard it, and just figured it was spelled something like knee-jerk reaction, like it was some psychology term. Oh well, I knew it was a knee-jerk reaction, but reading your post made me think why we use that phrase. Really obvious, but not something I had thought about previously. A little off topic, but I've recently discovered that I don't really have knee-jerk reactions. I get hit with the little mallet, and I feel it, but my knee is just like NAFAM. I'm good and doesn't give an involuntary response. English is not my first language, so I was mind blown when I realized how keys, kiss, he's apostrophe, his, this, these, etc. differed in sound, pronunciation. I first noticed this when I told my boyfriend I wanted a keys, and he looked very confused. Lol. Now I try my best to pronounce them properly. Edit. Grammar. Imagine if you'd made that mistake when ordering peas. Baby, are we going to get some peas real quick? My whole life I thought pay-per-view was actually pay-per-view because I had only ever heard people say it and only recently saw it written out. Same. I just figured in the old days people ordered shows off a paper list or something. Mayo. My boyfriend did not know that his electric toothbrush has a timer on it that goes off at 1 minute and 2 minutes. He actually returned it and got a new one thinking it was broken. Since the timer is just a brief sort of pause/reduction in the vibration, he would be like, WTF, I literally just charged this ducking thing thinking that the battery was already dying. One day, and I can't remember exactly what the conversation was, I brought up how I liked that my toothbrush let me know when I had brushed long enough, and it was like a light bulb went off in his head and suddenly he put it together that that was what his toothbrush was doing all along. My boyfriend didn't realize the red light on his electrical toothbrush was indicating he was brushing too hard until I mentioned it to him. That big ship's wheel I got to turn as a kid was not actually controlling the cruise ship. This jogged my memory of something. When I was around 13, I was on a flight with a bunch of other kids. I fell asleep during the flight, but woke up during some turbulence. A couple kids near me saw me wake up startled and made a big show of saying, "Whoa, I can't believe the pilot did a barrel roll." A few other people I talked to about it confirmed it, and it took me embarrassingly far into adulthood to realize some people were just messing with me. I mean, a pilot on a commercial flight wouldn't do that. Right? Not with passengers. But amazingly, It has been done with an airliner. Link. Seattle.com/Seattle News/60 years ago the famous Boeing 707 barrel rollover Lake Washington/ at a demonstration for industry officials. Boeing test pilot Tex Johnston was demonstrating the Boeing 707. Basically, his job was to persuade them to invest in the aircraft. Well, he was meant to do a simple flyover, but he did a barrel roll, apparently. When his boss asked him incredulously, "What did you think you were doing?" he responded, "Selling the airplane." Fair enough. I realized that to be in one's birthday suit it means to be without clothes. I thought for the longest time it was a specific set of clothes you would wear on your birthday each year. I found out when I asked, what happens when you don't fit in your birthday suit anymore? Lol. Stretch marks happen. Edit. Thank you kind strangers. My first awards. As a 6'9" guy who looks like the helmsman of Davy Jones whipped my back, I can testify this. I was 28 before I realized the meaning to the "Why is 6 afraid of 7" joke. I always just thought it was dumb. 7, 8, 9. Like you're just counting. The electric bill wasn't paid until later in my life. I didn't realize time flies like an arrow. Fruit flies like a banana wasn't absurdist humor until college. Holy duck I'm shit. For the longest time, I always thought prima donna was prima donna. Me too. My mother would call me that, and I thought she meant I was going to be a whore. Well, are you? Principal Belding from Saved by the Bell is named Belding. Apostrophe. 2 Beldings in one building, and one of them's balding. Best line of the show according to younger me. The reason the cord hook on the vacuum spins is so you can take the whole cord off at once instead of unraveling it one loop at a time. Like I have been my whole life. Edit. I learned how to spell cord today. And if you wind it up as a figure 8 between the 2 hooks, when you turn the hook down and take off the whole cord, it won't get tangled up as you vacuum. Edit. My first silver. For a vacuum cord comment. Please tell my husband this. I've been telling him this for years, but he doesn't believe me. Even though I physically demonstrated it. That parents have children write letters to Santa so they can figure out what to buy them for Christmas. I can't believe how I never put that together after 32 years on this earth. I just thought it was fun little tradition. In Sweden we put those letters in the post box with mail headed to the North Pole. In Canada you also send them in the mail to Santa Claus, North Pole, H0H0H0. Canada Post volunteers stationed at Santa's workshop will mail you back a letter from Old Saint Nick. Our postal codes are letter, number, letter, number, letter, number. Edit. Add Canada at end for you international kiddies that want a letter from Santa. Deadline is December 12th for Canadian letters, so get it in soon. My bedroom door was broke, and I finally got around to fixing it. Thought the knob was broke cause it was pushed in towards the door, so I pulled it out and realized that was how you lock the door. As a small child, like maybe age 4, my family told me the powder room door at my grandparents' house didn't lock. I had a reputation for accidentally locking myself into places, so they didn't want me locking myself in there, I guess. I was 18 before I accidentally locked the door just like that. Realized how it worked and emerged from the bathroom mortified and amused that I had gone all those years thinking the door just didn't lock. No one even remembered lying to me about the lack of lock. It called Men's Warehouse and not Men's Warehouse. It's been a couple years since I realized this, and I just think that's a clever name. What the duck, I just looked it up, and I still don't believe you. Men's Warehouse. The villain in Halloween is not played by Michael Myers. Get out of my swamp or I'm gonna murder ya. Do I make you a horny baby? Furious stabbing. This little piggy didn't go to the market to do any shopping. Wait. Then why are the other pigs eating roast beef? I feel like there's at least one of these pigs with its own agenda. Man, pigs will eat anything. Hey, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more daily Reddit videos.